Jai Guru Datta. Over the past few days we have discussed some aspects of Bhagavad Gita and some basic aspects of Samskrita Bhasha, Sanskrit language. In the course of these discussions we had some points to be brought forward for more discussion. Two among them are Bhagavad Gita teaches us to let go of desires. However, to some extent, these desires drive us to act. So, is desireless action the absence of desires? Is the desireless action the absence of desires? Or it is just letting go the attachment to a particular result? Swamiji has given one good suggestion. Nishkama karmeti yaduchkate tat adau bhavenno sukaran naranam. The Nishkama karma concept is easy to say, but it's a little difficult to implement in life. Absence of desires and letting go of the attachment, these are almost similar. Further, we recall the Bhagavad Gita Vakya, Yasya sarve samarambhaha kama sankalpa varjitaha jnanagni dagdha karmanam kamaho panditam buddhaha. Buddha means a scholar. Buddha means a scholar. Buddhaha tam panditam ahuhu. Those scholars approve someone's candidature as a fellow Pandita. It is something like a fellowship in a prestigious organization. We call Royal Fellow, Fellow of so-and-so organization, professional bodies, chartered accountants, bar association. So what happens? One who has earned the credentials is admitted by looking at his features, his work, worth. Then the committee will decide, okay, he is fit to be among us. So how do a genuine scholar admit another one as one among them? For that, there are two definitions. First, you need to decide who is a scholar actually. Scholar is one who applies his principles to his life, is called a scholar. Scholar is not one who has just memorized something and speaks intelligently, intuitively. He is not just a scholar. But scholar is one who applies those principles he is preaching to his own life and has proven himself successful, can be called as a scholar. That is number one point. In that sense, we don't know how many scholars we really have. We have only degree holders, not the genuine scholars. And what is the benchmark to become a scholar? Yasya sarve samarambhaha kama sankalpa varjitaha. We'll come back to the original question. Since the desires drive us to act, how do we become desireless? How to achieve absence of desires? The first one is how not to have desire. For that, you have to determine that, okay, the action that I am doing it's just for own my satisfaction. It does not have any additional benefit. First you conclude at that point, then you will not have the incentive to have a new desire. Let us take a very simple example. You have a weekend, which is a vacation day, but still you have opted to work the full day because you had some pending work which you would not complete due to variety of reasons, paucity of time or any other additional work. After having done the entire Saturday's work, you felt happy, okay, I have completed something. You knew that there is no additional incentive for working on the day, there is no additional payment. Once you have completed that, you don't want to work on Sunday also because there is no additional incentive, neither you have an occasion to do work. If you are getting some additional incentive money for working on Saturday, then your mind would actually create one more opportunity to work on Sunday so that you will get additional benefit. Since you didn't get any payment for your Saturday's additional work, you won't feel like working for an additional day. Just apply this to your Nishkama Karma. Karomi yadyat sakaram parasmai Narayanaja iti aham samarpajami. Whatever I am doing it, I am just offering it without any condition, without any pre-qualification. I am offering at the lotus feet, holy feet of God. Once you have decided, whatever you do that goes there, we should have an additional design, additional act, additional this thing other than what I ought to do. Being part of Swadharma, I have certain duties. Then what will happen? There is no incentive to do additional work. Then just limit yourself to what you ought to do. Now explain the original this thing. Yasya sarve samarabhaha. Whatever you are starting, they are devoid of kama, a desire, sankalpa, a determination or a declaration to do something. So you neither have a desire nor a declaration that okay, for this reason I am, for to accrue this benefit I am doing it. So the sankalpa is lost and the desire is also lost. So that's how you have to do. Such persons are qualified as Pandita and admitted to the league of Panditas. So if you really want to be a Pandita, just implement this qualification of Bhagavad Gita. The next one. And if we should strive for desireless action, then why have an entire section of Vedas be dedicated to how to achieve worldly things? This is even more beautiful. The former part of Veda is called as Karma Kanda. As Bhagavad Gita Acharya has made it very clear, Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishthat yakarmakrat. Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishtati akarmakrat. You can't expect any person to be actionless even for a second. He will do something. Even if he is not seen to be doing anything, he will at least be breathing. He will be seated. Sitting is also, sleeping is also an action. So there is nothing called actionless state in the entire life. So therefore, is it possible not to be actionless? No, impossible. And to not have desires is the stated goal. But till you reach that level, you need to be desiring something at least. Actually, there is a paradox here. Desiring a desireless state is also a desire, right? When you don't want any desireless desire, when you want to be above the desires, that means you are desiring and yearning for a desireless state. That itself is also desire. So till you reach the ultimate stage, desires are part of your life. So if they are inevitable, we need regulation. Suppose I need specs to read something. I can't just grab her specs to suit my convenience. If I need money, I can't just put my hand into his pocket and grab whatever is available. Then it will be lawlessness. There is something called a Charvaka Siddhanta. I don't know how many have heard about it. Charvaka actually is Charu Vak. Charu means beautiful, Vak means speech. Charu Vak. The Siddhanta is something like this. Yavat Jivet Sukhan Jivet. Rodam Krutva Ghrutam Pibet. One of the four most famous sayings. Yavat Jivet, as long as you live, Sukhan Jivet, have a comfortable life. Rodam Krutva Ghrutam Pibet. If you don't have milk at home, don't worry. Just borrow it from someone, take ghee and enjoy your meal. Don't ever worry about returning that favor back. If you need money, just borrow from someone. Don't worry whether he would ask and whether you need to give it back. Borrow, enjoy a splurging, spend thrift life. Don't worry about anything. Why do you worry all your life about studying Vedas, Swadhyaya, doing this and that? Agnihotram Triga Vedaha. Danacha Bhaspa Gunthanam. Buddhi Jivika Hinanam. Buddhi Paurusha Hinanam Jiviketi Brahaspati. That fellow is also called a Brahaspati, not that Devaguru Brahaspati. Studying these Vedas, having the Bhasma, doing Dana, etc. It's only for those people who neither have the intellect nor any human effort and human pride. They waste their life in doing all those things. Why do you worry about all those things? Just enjoy your life to the moment. What will happen? This type of teachings, they appeal to the common man. It's a travesty of justice that in India we are seeing. In many states and many countries also that's a phenomenon. The political parties vie with each other to give free benefits to one and all, even without asking. From today all your travel will be free, you go wherever you are, no questions asked. If you say that what's happening, people without any meaningful occasion, they are just traveling for the sake of traveling. And with this many are getting deprived. And the entire enterprise would go into losses. Similarly, you don't need not work. Every month the government will give you everything that is required. Then where is the incentive to work hard? So this sort of lawlessness would be the order of the day. Which society can endure this forever? So therefore there has to be some regulation. So your desires have to be regulated. And to achieve your desires, we need a mechanism, a proper mechanism, which is proportionate to your action. It can't be disproportionate. If you just put $10 and expect $100 in return within 1 year, either you have to make a steal, or you have to theft, or you have to cheat someone. To pay Robert, you have to rob Richard. Otherwise, there is no money at all. There is no free lunch. That can't happen. So this regulation, if someone has to make, Vedas have made it. Because they are meant for solving your worldly problems. What is the purpose of Veda? They say, Ishtaprap Yanishta Pariharajoho, Alaukikam Upajam Yo Vedagati Grantha Saha Vedaha. The preamble of Vedic commentary is explicitly clear on many points that are really noteworthy. Why do you require Vedas? They say, with human effort I am able to solve all my problems. I can get what I want. Then why do I require this Veda? Then came up the question, suppose your human intellect and human effort are incapable of solving some of your problems, incapable of achieving some of your requirements. How do you cater to the needs of the society? Then you would require something out of world solution for this thing. Then again, the question comes, okay, if a solution is out of world, it is definitely not for me. Why? Because I'm a worldly man, I'm a worldly woman. I can only access that which is possible through worldly means, which are available in the world. If you are talking about out of world solutions, then it's definitely not for me, it's not my cup of tea. So it's a wastage of your effort. So still I don't require Veda. That's the second one. Then came the reply from the Siddhanti, the thesis. Of course, we call the solutions from the Veda as out of world, because Veda is not made by a human with an effort and intent. It has been revealed with the inspiration, and without any human effort, it has appeared to the rishis. Through them we got all these things. So revelations are part of the entire faith. Then how do they help us? The Vedas deploy a language which is used in the world. With these useful sentences, they give a solution which is not available in the world. That is what is meant by out of world. They use the sentences and words which are available in the world to give a solution which is not available in the world. That is what is meant by alaukika upaya, out of world solution. Therefore, the Vedic scriptures regulate our desires, give us a code of conduct, and give us a mechanism to achieve by justified means all our desires proportionately. That is why we need the desire mechanism system and a regulation of it. Therefore, it is perfectly all right to have the karma kanda. Once you transcend this level of karma, then at the desireless state, nishkama karma, then you don't require it. It's true. Once you have some problem with the leg, you take a crutch and a walking stand. Once you are all right, then we just take it off, cast it aside, right? Similarly. The next question is Dattaji, Paramapujiga. Ganapati Suchidananda Swamiji always says that his bhajan compositions are Vedanta Puttu song. Which bhajan do you think best shows this, and what does that bhajan mean? Ideally, any bhajan which is on the iTunes would be easier for you to replay that. I will give one bhajan, Sadanandejo, Sadaspandejo. Do you know that? Have you heard of it? Can someone sing that? Yeah, just open it. Sadanandejo, Sadaspandejo, Chidakashejo, Chiranjivasijo, Sadanandejo, Sadaspandejo, Chidakashejo, Chiranjivasijo, Nigamapunjajo, Bhavati Rajurjo, Nigama punjojo bhavati rajurjo ajadalijo sada paryankosti jojo. Bhavati srishtischa pralaya srishtischa. I'm sorry, you're not able to. Okay, just give me the pass on the text. How Swamiji subtly shows us the Bhavati srishtischa pralaya ritischa Shive yatanjo tatha yatancha dolayam. Bhavati srishtischa pralaya ritischa Shive yatanjo tatha yatancha dolayam. Dolayam sadanandejo sadaspamdejo chidakashejo chiranjivasijo chirandivasijo mama chittancha bhavati dolajo sada tatrapi bhati yata yata katha janani nityante manasi dolastu dvijavanti tvam Suraga Satchidananda 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 Sadanandejo Sadaspamdejo Chidakashejo Chirandivyasi jo. Beautiful bhajan in Dvijavanti raga. What is Dvijavanti? Dvija is the one who is reincarnated through his samskara. The first birth from the mother's womb is one part, and the second is your acquisition of knowledge, or at that stage he is called as Upanayana, taking you to the fold of Acharya Guru. That is called the Upanayana. So one who protects those Upanitas, those who are out to acquire divine knowledge, that is called as Dvijavanti. That's the name of the raga, and which is also used as the adjective for Mother Goddess. How Swamiji's bhajans subtly convey the crux of Vedanta. Here Swamiji is talking about the four chains that hold the swing together, the cradle or the swing. These four chains are nothing but the four Vedas. Nigama Punjaha, Rajjur Bhavati, Ajandali, Sada Paryankaha. Paryanka means the plank. The plank of the either palanquin or the swing is called as Paryanka. And what is the Paryanka? Ajandali means the Brahmanda, the entire universe is this plank. So you are presiding over that plank. That is the theme. Bhavati srishtischa pralaya ritischa shive yatam jo tatha yatancha dolayam. The swing moves from one corner to another corner. So if it moves one way, that is srishti. When it is withdrawing, that is pralaya. So you are presiding over the entire concept phenomenon called Brahmanda, and once you move it to one side, it is srishti, creation. When you withdraw that to the other pendulum side, then it would be pralaya, withdrawal, right? Nimeshotpanna vipanna bhuvanavalihi. Unmesha nimeshotpanna vipanna bhuvanavalihi. You have learnt it in Lalita Sahasranama. Unmesha nimisha utpanna vipanna bhuvanavalihi. Unmesha is to open. When her eyelids open, that is utpanna, that is creation. Nimisha means to close it. Once the eyelids close, that is vipanna bhuvanavalihi. The same meaning of Lalita Sahasranama is carried here. When there is a movement to one direction, it would be opening up and creation. When it is closing up, it is closure. The next one is mamacha chittante bhavati jola. I am very famed for my fickle-mindedness. Does anyone need any proof for that? The moment I talk about something and suddenly my mind thinks about something else. Swamiji always quotes one example which reminds me greatly at all times. Once a Shishya challenged a Guru, I can control my mind like anything. Perhaps all these restrictions are not applicable to me. Guru was very happy. Okay, at least I found one disciple who can control his mind perfectly. And he said, all good, all well and said, whatever you do, I am very happy for you. I just have one small warning. What is that? He said, never think about the monkey on the branch. This Shishya, wherever he was going, disciple, wherever he thought, this monkey on the branch is almost constantly coming to his mind. And after a few hours, Guru has come to us. How is your sadhana going on? Guruji, you have unnecessarily spoiled my mind, the equilibrium. The monkey on the branch is constantly pounding me. So that's how it is. My mind is known to be a great pendulum. From one extreme, one moment I say I am in the Nirvikalpa Samadhi sthiti, I don't have any connection with the world. The next moment I think about the Diet Coke. So this is how my mind is actually going this way and that way. So let's make a deal. This is a deal with the Mother Goddess. You want to enjoy your ride on the swing, right? Okay. I offer my mind as your cradle, as your swing. Just come and sit on my mind so that you will also enjoy your joyride. I also have stability in my mind. So that's a poetical offering, saying that let Goddess permit my mind and make it stable. So this is one way of poetically offering it. Sada tatrapi bhati yata yata katha. Yata yata is called traffic. This going and coming is a traffic. Even when you are there might be some sort of movement, but you will enjoy those joy rides. Janani nityam me manasi dolastu. If you are presiding over the mind's cradle, mind's swing, I will be very happy. Dvijavanti tvam suraga satchidananda. Then I will not worry about my mind levitating and gravitating towards all other sides. I will not be, because you are already there and you are enjoying the joyride. So what else do I require? So that's a subtle way of inviting Mother Goddess for stability of mind. So this is simply put one of the Upasana Margas. So this is how Swamiji has blessed many of us, because knowing the language is one part and knowing the philosophy is the second part. Mere knowledge of the language won't take you anywhere. Similarly, if you have just the philosophy, then also you will be failing. You will be failing. The next question is about Amshavatara and Purnavatara. The understanding of the word or prefix Amsha is partial and Purna offers full or complete. When it is said that Krishna, for example, is a Purnavatara or a full avatara, does that imply that there are Amshavataras? And if so, how are we to understand what is meant by Amshavatara? And moreover, how can Lord be anything but full or complete if he is indivisible? If God is full, it has to be full. How can he be partly discovered? And how can he be partly described? That is the question. Actually, there is a paradox in the question itself. When we said God is indivisible and full, complete, absolute, you are talking about Nirguna Brahma, the state which is beyond the Trigunas. And that comparison can't be brought here. When you describe Sri Rama is born from the womb of Kausalya and Shri Krishna from Devaki Garbha, then the concept of indivisibility and fullness and limitlessness does not occur at all. Once you are born, that means you are talking about a partial khanda. It is not akhanda. It is not limitless. So therefore, don't bring that principle. It's a different case that Bhagavan is representing the fullness and absolute nature. That's a different thing. But when you talk about avatara, avatara itself means descend from the great state, everlasting state. He is descending to the normal level of having birth and expiry. That is the how you have all the avataras which are describing every state of God in the human form. So therefore, you should not mix up two concepts. And talking about Purnavatara and Amshavatara and Jnanavatara, if a Purana or a text is describing the incarnation from the concept level and the Janana, the birth and the entire Leela and conclusion, the expiry or Nirjana, if the entire cycle is described, then we call it as Purnavatara. That is why we have Rama and Krishna, which we have the concept, they have the birth, and we have the entire Leela, his lifetime, and the expiry and departure. All are completely described in the Puranas, for Bhagavata, for Shri Krishna, and Ramayana for Shri Rama, and many of these stories. There we call them as Purna Avatara. Purna Avatara means complete description. It is not belittling or enhancing the pride or magnanimity of a deity. We never say that. Purna means full description, that's it. And those avatars only partially described are called as Amshavatara. For example, Matsyavatara, the departure is never recorded in any of the Puranas. Kamatha, the tortoise, the Kachapa, Purmavatara, there all of a sudden it has come into being and it has done its job, and after that there is no record of what has happened. Similar for Varahavatara. And Kalki Avatara is yet to come. So therefore, we call them as Amshavataras because there is no full description of it. No offense meant at any point of time. The next question. Shreyan Swadharma Vigunaha Paradharmat Swanushthitat. Shreyan Swadharma Vigunaha Paradharmat Swanushthitat. Swadharme nidhanam shrejah paradharmah bhayavaha. Even if your job is less attractive, Vigunaha, I translate this way. Vigunaha means devoid of any virtue. I don't say. It is less attractive. If your job is less attractive, paradharmat svanushthitat. If other job is very well performed, exceptionally performed, and your job is less attractive, which should you prefer? Shreyan swadharmaha. Even if it is less attractive, stick to your job. Swadharme nidhanam shrejah. Keep doing it and even don't hesitate to die in your job. Just do your job. Paradharmaha bhajavaha. If you are venturing into others' job, it's frightening, it's frightful, dreaded, never do that. This is actually seems to be some sort of reservation agenda, keeping people to a particular profession and even pinning them down. This is what a political statement would look like. Don't you let anyone come out of that agenda and go to a next higher position. They want a particular reservation and conservation of certain duties. That's what it appears, prima facie. Now, okay, accepted at face value. Krishna has said he might have whether he has an agenda, vested interest or something, let us accept it. Okay, what should be the Swadharma? Let us have the definition of that Swadharma. Shamodapas tapas shaucham kshantirarjavamevacha jnanam vijnanam astikyam brahma karma svabhavajam. The Swadharma is well defined in the later chapters of Bhagavad Geeta. Shreyan Swadharmaha is the earlier Karma Yoga prescription. Here we have the 42 to 44 of 18th chapter. We have the classes which are mentioned here. Class 1, class 2, class 3, class 4. Here again, people can very easily misunderstand and give few brownie points for unnecessary reason. This misinterpretation is called as Prajnavada. Shri Krishna has said, Prajnavadamscha bhashase. Do you think you are too intelligent and making such impolite, unnecessary conclusions? Let's look at these lines. Brahmana kshatriya visham shudranancha parantapa karmani pravibhaktani svabhava prabhavayir gunaihi. Karmani, the duties of 4 classes are defined by me, which are more and more defined due to their nature of those duties. Nature of those duties, I am defining these 4 classes. Brahmana kshatriya visham shudranancha. And what is the dharma, swadharma of for a Brahmana? The Brahmana is defined as the intellectual, knowledge, industry and spiritual duty. We don't say religious duty because everyone's duty itself is a religion. That is what Bhagavad Gita says. Shamo damas tapas shaucham kshantir arjava mevacha jnanam vijnanam astikyam brahma karma svabhavajam. So to become a Brahmana, the primary requirement would be to keep the mind controlled, shama, to have perfect control over all your sensory organs, dama, tapaha, keep your mind clear, antarika shuddhi, and endure all the difficulties, shaucham, even the mind has to be cleaned and the environment has to be cleaned, the body has to be cleaned. Kshantihi, have endurance. Arjavam, your mind should be simple and straight, and even your speech should be that. And one more, your works should be simple and straight. And one more unadded point here is that welcome poverty. Try to be poor. Don't aspire for, actually in other dharma shastras, it's almost impossible and very hard to implement. Don't have the second day's food at home. For your survival for tomorrow, you should have only that much food. And don't even aspire or accumulate anything other than what is required for tomorrow. That is the basic requirement to being a Brahmana. Now you would understand why all the Upanishad Vartas, they say, okay, you should always give something to the Brahmana, just for this reason. Because he is not supposed to keep anything and accumulate anything. And at the same time, he is also required to feed everyone who is coming to his home, including the children, and they should be given free education without expecting anything. So this is the impossible combination of duties. Actually, if at all there is a unjustified mechanism of life control that is targeted towards a Brahmana, so that is next to impossible for anyone to lead a life, prescribed life of a Brahmana. It's next to impossible. That's why every Purana, you say, once there was a poor Brahmana, he was in dire straits, and he was advised to do this vrata, and goddesses have graced him, and he got some material wealth. So they always start with this thing. And Krushatva means he should be so thin, because there is not sufficient food. There is not sufficient food. Therefore, his even the rib cage is also seen. So that is the Krushatva. Even the Yajnas also say, Piva Dikshate, Krusho Yajate. Piva means a stout man who is very well built is doing the Sankalpa. But at the end of the Yajna, he will be so thin because there will not be enough nutrition. That is the life prescribed for a Brahmana. So it is never easy. So one who is doing a task which is next to impossible, the society has to take care of that person because he is the upkeeper of the knowledge, and without expecting a single penny, he has to give his knowledge to one and all whoever seeks it. So that is the arduous task which is given. Along with this, Dhamma, Tapaha, Shanti, Kshanti, Arjavam. You have to do it pleasantly. Don't curse your fate that, okay, I am born in this thing, or I am ordained to do this thing. So you have to welcome those austerities with pleasure. That is what it is all about. Now let us see who has a better quotient. Now this also explains why people have migrated to other services. The last one, if I come from the last one, it says, Shodrasya Dharmaha, service, skilled labor section. Paricharyatmakam karma Shodrasyati Swabhavajam. Paricharya is to service. Who does not want service these days? What is service? Service is a job. You have to be in a job. You need fixed income. Without fixed income, no one would marry you. No one would propose to you. No one would accept you. No one would even give a house on rent because they know that you don't have a job. Tomorrow you will not pay the rent. No one would even give you a credit card. A bank account won't be opened. Therefore, the easiest of all was doing service. That is the reason everyone wants to do the Shodra Karma. It's not at all a derogatory word at all. I don't know why people are taking offense to this particular verb. There was a Raja who was named as Shodraka. So that is the service module. So everyone wants to be a Shodra these days, right? So that is not at all. And what does it entail? Seva Karya, Kaushala, having different skill set and skill-based works and taking care of every branch of the society and to take care of their needs. That is all part of the Paricharya. So the entire service industry is categorized and all the professions are categorized. And other than this, what is left? There are only two things that are left: trade and industry and animal husbandry. So these are the three things. They are given Krishi Gaurakshya Vanijyam Vaishya Karma Swabhavajam. One who indulges in the farming and one who takes up the Pashupalana, animal husbandry and trade and industry. These are the duties of Vaishya. If you have little money, then go for these things. If you don't have money, just do your job. So everyone wants to become a Shudra at first level. After these days, we call it knowledge economy, but actually everyone wants to become a Shudra and offer services so that they get their fixed income. Actually getting a fixed income was a sin. I call it was a sin. That was the level of austerity. They called it as niyoga, and being bound by a service duty was actually looked down. That is the arrangement and macro view of the entire societal paradigm at that point of time. So therefore, when you analyze a situation, you have to keep the macro view before you comment on the microscopic duties. And what else is left? The knowledge part is taken care. Those who are desire to spread the knowledge as well as upkeep it and preserve it for posterity. That was the Brahmana's duty. And those who did not possess any of these qualities and also money, they were immediately taking up the Shudra Vritti, that is service, and all other professions. And those who had little money, they had taken up the trade, industry, farming and cattle and whatever animal related. Now the second part was governance and protection. Kshatat trayate iti kshatriya. Kshatam means from injury. You have to protect the society from injury, harm. That was the duty of kshatriya. So therefore, the soldiers and the government was the domain of kshatriya. So these are the four categories given by Gita Charya for the upkeep and healthy maintenance of the society. Now you should understand the Swadharma. When Gita Charya said Swadharma Vigunam, Swadharma Nidhanam Shrejaha, even if your duty is inferior as you deem it, never leave your job. If a farmer says, oh, it's very hard to be toiling in the fields, that's what is happening all over the world now. Even in our India, none of the second generation or third generation people want to get into the field and get soiled. Everyone wants a desk job. Even if it is killing you, the obesity kills and the heart problem kills and you are devoid of sun and most of your health problems are D vitamin deficiency related. You have all the problems sitting at the office all the time. And to describe our situation, we are all couch potatoes. We have put on unnecessary weight. We get unnecessary running water is one of the culprits for our ill health. We spend a lot of water unnecessarily. So the health system, everything has gone down, but still we don't want to work on the fields. Everyone wants someone else to supply us food. But we don't want to grow your own food. We never even thought about it. We say, even to speak about farming and horticulture to the children, we say these are unnecessary things. If there is no such concept, do we eat the computers or the phones? We can't eat them. So the food is never even discussed. Bhagavad Gita wants us to discuss about the food. What type of food should you consume? What sort of food you should leave out? So those things have to be, and Swadharma is all about this thing. And if everyone, now what's happening actually, in my country I will tell you, the mechanical engineers, civil engineers, electrical engineers, automobile engineers, railway engineers, they are all very important. Now no one wants to work on that. Everyone wants a computer science job. Even if people say, I don't want computer science graduates, please go away. Even if 90% of them are unemployed, even those 5% employed are also not fit for employment. But still everyone wants only one job. So this type of mismanagement shall be averted. If we really take Bhagavad Gita at face value, that sort of control and regulation is required for the world's easy management and healthy management. That is why Shreyan Swadharma Vigunaha means that if your job even seems unattractive and less creditable, don't leave your job, stick to your job. And Swadharma is what the society and what the family wants. Now we don't have good artisans. Even Rudradhyaya says, Namah Kulalebhyaha, Karmalebhyaha, Punjishtebhyaha, Nishadebhyaha, Ishukrudbhyaha, Dhanvakrudbhyaha, Margajabhyaha, Swanibhyaha, Shvabhyaha, Shvapatibhyaha. All the professions, including the pottery, the ironsmith, goldsmith, and the armory maker, the Ishakrudbhyaha, one who makes a pistol or the arrow, and one who makes the tankers, all of the professions are regarded as noble, and also they are all regarded as the embodiment and an aspect of Rudra, the divinity. So therefore your job is never evil or your job is never inferior. Only your feeling is inferior. So just shut that out and your job seems to be noble. So that is the manual given by Gita Charya. So therefore Swadharma is very good for our this thing. If a nation has 32 districts or 23 provinces, and we start them either way from the geographical point, north to south or east to west, or alphabetical order, A, B, C, D something. So everything has a number. Is number 1 greater than number 2? Is number 9 inferior or lesser than number 1? No. These are all divisions. Every division is required for the healthy functioning. So therefore, no class is greater than the other. Without the other class, class 2 will not function. If the trade and industry does not have protection, it cannot survive. You can see many lawless countries around the world where no investment is made because there is no law and order. If everyone is into law and order, then what will they eat? They also need food. So you need the society to produce all the grains and give us the money so that it can be protected efficiently. So knowledge is important, service is important, trade industry and farming is important, and governance is important. So that is the healthy society Bhagavad Gita is talking about. Therefore, we should make all the efforts to achieve the balance of life, balance of society, which is the meaning of Bhagavad Gita. And there are many such important concepts. Sve sve karman yabhirataha samsiddhyam labhate naraha. That's very important. What does the president of a nation get as pension or salary? Let's say $1 million. What does the Sipai, the ordinary sentinel, an urban person get? You say 10,000 or 15,000, 20,000, something like this. If all of them get the same benefit, would there be incentive in taking up higher jobs? If you are the CEO of a company, you make that same 100,000, and even a bench clerk in the same company makes the same. Then what is the incentive in going out and taking great risks, etc.? There will not be. So innate duty is fine. That's what you would say. In the end, that is what Gita Charya is assuring you. Sve sve karman yavirataha. Love your duty. Whatever it is. Even if you are a scavenger, or a pujari, or a archaka, or a cook, or a cleaner, or the president of a temple or an organization, sve sve karman yavirataha. Once you love your duty, samsiddhil labhate naraha. I will give you the siddhi there itself. You did not aspire for higher positions. It's not the pyramid-like structure. Unless you are the top of the pyramid, you won't get the benefit. There is no such concept. Wherever you are doing your duty, loving your job, I will liberate you. So what else will we require? What else could be the assurance? Straight from the mouth of Bhagavad Gita. So this is the way of balancing the world's economy, societal order, and welfare of the society. So this is what Bhagavad Gita tells. So there are many more other concepts, but if the policy makers and the constitution makers have this magnanimity in their vision, then there will be better balance of life. Jai Guru Datta.